Hi, Travis with Splunk here. Wanted to continue the How Does Travis Do Things Inside of Splunk series. In a previous video, I talked about field extractions and walked through using our Splunk field extractor and then going out to website regex 101, building a regular expression to use in a props and transforms to parse the Debian package log, dpkg.log data set and get some usable fields out of it. And so I've got the data pulled up here, and we can see there's the action field, package, and version. These are going to be, fields that it can help me build an interactive dashboard. So I'm going to turn, this raw data set into a classic XML, simple XML dashboard with a time range picker, panels that incorporate drill downs to feed other panels, and probably do a multi-select today. I'm going to keep it easy. We can get into the new dashboard studio builder. We can get into post-processing, having one search run multiple panels. In dashboard studio, it's changed searches, but I want to start off easier and give you an idea of how do I build a dashboard from a data set like this. It's kind of like being an artist, and once you practice and get better over time, you get a style. So some of my dashboards have a very familiar feel and touch to them. So let's start with this data set here. Action. I think action is going to be a good one to use for as a field. So I'm going to do a stats count by action. And I like how I can see the different, actions for the packages and what's happening to the packages throughout my Nix devices. So I think this is going to be a good start for the first panel in a dashboard. So let's hit save as. I'm going to say new dashboard, and then we're going to give it a title. So Nix package info. I could give it a description, change your permissions. You can share this out to everyone or keep it private till you get it completed or closer to completion and then share it out. I'm just going to leave it private for this video here. And then we have our option classic or dashboard studio. I'm going to select classic dashboard. I'm very familiar with this, used it an awful lot. I will create another video that covers building dashboards in the new studio builder, and probably build the same dashboard so you can see the similarities and the differences between the two different styles of dashboard building. Panel title, I'm not going to worry about that right now. We can click advanced settings. It's just giving me some more information. Inline search or drill down, don't have anything like that built because this is a new dashboard. So let's click save to dashboard and view this dashboard. Now, one of the first things I do with my dashboards, I go into edit and I enable dark theme, and there we go, refresh. So it's a little bit easier on my eyes. And now the data's up here. What do I want to do next? Do I want, I do want to pass this action field down to another panel so I can drill down further into the log. But I also want a time range picker. So I'm going to click edit and add a time range picker first. Because I want to be able to, right now the search is hard coded to the last 24 hours, but what if I want to know the last 7 days, the last 30 days? Or if I just need to know the last 60 minutes. So here we're going to click time. One thing that Travis does is I go in here and change the token name to time1 instead of just having field 1 and field 2, and having, I like a little bit more structure where I can see, okay, this was my time token. So I'm going to click apply and save. My daughter learned a very important lesson the other day. She's been learning Blender and to save often. And so that's what I'm going to do here is save often. I probably don't save enough. And if I click 24 hours and maybe select last 7 days, nothing happens. And I know why nothing happens. And if you've done this before, where you've put a time range picker and you save and you go, okay, why is this not working? Why is it not changing the time? Or why am I not getting new values? And it's because, let's go back to edit here. It's because you have not associated your panel and the search in the panel to the new time range picker. Because Splunk doesn't do it automatically. So we're going to click the magnifying glass and edit this search. And once this screen comes up, we can see use time picker underneath time range, and it says last 24 hours. Well, I'm going to click the use time picker section. And in here, we have a shared time picker time 1. And I'm going to click apply. Now, instantly, the search reruns. So save. And now we can see that the results will vary depending on the time we pick. So now I want to build a drill down because I want to pass some information from this first panel to other panels. Off to the right here, we have edit search, you have select visualizations, format that visualization, and different options. And then there's more actions. So I'm going to click the 3 little dots, go into edit drill down, and we have multiple actions that can happen on click. We can link it to a search, dashboard report, custom URL, or what I want, because I want this dashboard interactive and I don't want to leave it, is manage tokens and on this dashboard. And here we can set multiple tokens from this one dashboard. I mean, really only have one because I only have one column or one field I'm playing with in this search. But if I had multiple fields or multiple columns, I could have multiple values going over. Or here I'm going to say token name action 1. When I click on token value, I could pass, I could call this action, underscore name or whatnot. But I'm just going to leave it as action 1. But I could pass the name and the value. So if I, when you're starting to get into more advanced drill down techniques, you can play with those. But here we're going to do action 1. I'm going to click on click value. If I did click name, it would give me the field name of action. That's not what I want. I want the value out of that field. So I want the click value. If you have multiple columns, you could say, hey, here, row dot the name, replace, everything there, the greater or less than field name with action or later on package or whatever. But I'm just going to say click value. Is that simple? Click apply. And now you'll notice that everything turned blue. If I click on anything, nothing's going to happen right now because I haven't built in, where this information is going to go. I want, a similar search that I had before. So I'm going to grab this information here. Control C. I'm going to click cancel, and I want to create another panel. So new stats table. Well, here, you know what? I'll show you another way. So I'm going to click save. I'm not doing anything yet. I could from this screen here, like I said, nothing's going to happen, but I could come down here and click open in search, which will take me to a search with the information I have. And maybe I want, I can start using installed as an example. So I could say, action, equals installed. And let's delete this and run this search. And from here, if I don't know what I want next, I could start playing around with the data here and, pass an action and then start looking at, and we need to change this from fast mode to smart mode. If you don't see any fields over there, make sure you're in smart mode, or verbose if you like to do that. But make sure you're, I had to switch over to that. And now I can see the other interesting fields. Maybe I want something like, because there is package, and that's what I want. So I can say, stats count by, package. rerun the search. And this gets me closer to what my next panel I want it to be. Oh, kid's tablet. So let's copy this. Let's edit. And let's add a panel. I'm going to say new and stats table. And I'm going to enter that search I was just running. Now I will have to modify the word installed here because I want my token from the previous panel. So whoops, not an at, but I'm going to wrap this in quotes. And you'll want to, I wouldn't necessarily need to wrap this in quotes because there's no spaces like between half and configured. But if you're doing like a GUIP location and you're using those commands, IP location, when you look at country, United States, it doesn't, if you were to try to pass country and there's a space in the country name, you don't wrap it in quotes, it will, break your search. So I called this action 1, if I remember correctly. And I want to make sure that I pick my shared time picker. It doesn't do it automatically for you. And then add this to dashboard. And I have unbalanced quotes. Because as I was talking, I forgot to double check spelling and all that good things. Good thing Splunk helps me out. And now I'm going to click apply, and the data, it's waiting for data. I had clicked on something up here, I believe, and then I can click startup or installed. So if I click installed, we can see the data is going to change. Here's another tip for you. I'm still in the edit mode here. If you would like to see what tokens you are passing, I could put, reviewing action equals, $ action 1 $. While you're in the edit mode, it will only show the token. It will not show the value. But if I come up here and click save and go back to the view mode, if you notice it went back, it changed to installed. So if I click on upgrade, now I can see, hey, here's upgrade. So this is a neat way to learn, when I click on stuff, what am I passing? And I do this a lot. And I'll also show you that startup, I get nothing. No results found. And you can sit here and go, oh, I don't know why there's no results. There should have been results. I mean, there should be results because I have 4. Well, the reason why and what you can do to start troubleshooting and understand the differences here is go to that panel and at the bottom, open that up in search and start looking at, the base, the raw data here. So I'm going to take out the stats count by package and rerun this search. And if I look, let me change this back to smart mode. And if I look at my interesting fields, I will not find package over here. And that's because it's not there. I could put a not statement and say, hey, don't ever show me this. But if I wanted this information and see when, startup of packages configure and unpack, and I wanted this information to show up, there is a trick that we can do, and that's the fill null. So I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to say fill null, and then value equals, and check raw logs. I mean, you could put it as easy as a star, you can say NA, whatever you want. And then you must specify which field. So I'm going to say package. And now when I do my stats count by package, what the fill null does is if there's not a value there in the field, it will put a value in there for you. So I've used this with other things where, yes and no's, and, there's some tricks that you can do with this. So here, it will just say, hey, check raw logs. And then you'll have to go in and look at the raw logs. or just know that never click on that, or you can say, hey, never show me that, and yeah, I'll let you decide. I mean, you can even, I guess you could even in your props and transforms not even parse that data. But since I have it there, and I wanted to show how you could make it work. So I'm going to actually copy this fill null and go back to my dashboard that I'm building, click edit, and go into edit this search and add that line right here. So now when I hit apply and I click, somebody clicks on startup, they will get, hey, go check the raw logs. And you can, put whatever you want in there. So let's click save again. And so now I have a time range picker that will change when I am, last 7 days, and it'll affect both of my panels. You can see installed, you can see that it's passing the tokens, but I want more. And one thing I don't, maybe I'm not happy with the fields I'm getting here because I'm just getting a package. I could put another drill down, click on curl, and give me the host or give me the version. I can have something come up and show me multiple things, or I can add that into this display here, this panel. Let's edit. Let's re-edit this search, and let's say something like, I could just put in the word host and apply, and it will work, but it's not what I really want, especially when I start, if I expand it out to the last 7 days where I have multiple hosts coming in. But you can see now I have multiple hosts and I've got curl and, twice. I'd rather have all the hosts listed with one package. So let's go back and edit our search. And instead of just putting the word host in there, let's say values host, and let's rename that to something like, host, and keep it simple. And we'll leave the word count in there, and we'll click apply. So now I'm going to get a package and a distinct count of, host. I don't get there are the values, distinct values of the host, not the count, because I still have my count over there, which shows me 4. So I probably had 2 on Hall file and 2 on, my K8s cluster there. We could use list, and there's other things that we can try and see if that's what we want. But I like value. I'm going to leave it here. But I want more. I want to be able to take and find out, more about the, the package curl. What happened? I have, right now it's installed, but was there any other information that I could get? Or maybe I need to have a report to export from here. So we're going to add another drill down and click the 3 little stars over here, or stars, dots, more actions, edit drill down, go back into here. I could say, once again, search dashboard report, but that would take me out of this dashboard, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to manage the tokens on this dashboard. Token name, let's call it package 1. And then click value. Since this is leftmost value, it'll work just fine. And then we're going to click apply. Everything turns blue. So I'm going to save so I don't lose my work. And then I want to see the raw logs for all of the package that happens here. So I will create another panel. Let's click edit. And you know what? I'm going to, just so that I have it, I will just copy this section here, cancel. All right, let's add another panel, new, and we're just going to say events this time. Make sure we select our time range picker. We could put a title there, and then here's my base search, and I want that package drill down. So package equals, wrap it in quotes, wrap it in $, and then package 1. And then I'm going to add this to dashboard, and you can see that it is waiting for an input. And as soon as I click on something over here, curl, we should see the raw log events for curl and every action that was happening with curl. So I can see the installed and the half configured and unpacked. And this would be if you needed to provide a report of all of, every, what did it all do, or when did it do it all, and then, all the different steps. Um, Now, the problem is if somebody asked me, hey, I need to see it for just this one server. I mean, right now I can't just show you just one server, but we can do that. So I'm going to click save before I go any further. And there's a couple different ways that we can do this. We could put a multi-select, and that's what I'm going to go with, is multi-select right up here at the top. And I can have the dynamic search run and give me host names to be able to populate down here. Or if you have a group of servers, maybe if you're working with different groups, databases, web servers, different program of records, but and you want to look at a certain group of people and see just their servers, and then later on have a second multi-select to say, okay, from that batch, show me this. We can do that kind of dashboard magic. So I'm going to put one multi-select in here just for this video. Maybe that would be another topic for later on. So here is multi-select, and we can grab a hold of this, and I'm going to do that and come down to this panel. Because I want to, I'll leave the top two alone for now, and we can actually have a multi-select here and up top and have them work together. Yeah, there's cool things that we can do. Going to click the crayon here, and then let's say host selection, and we'll say host 1, and I'll show you something. I've already got some stuff edited here, and until I hit apply, it won't retain this. So if I just click out of it and come back, it's gone. So be careful when you're in there, because you can be like typing and going at it and then accidentally click out and you lose all your work, and that's aggravating. Because one thing I am going to do is I want to make sure that I have, and I'm going to copy this whole thing here, because I want my search, because I'm going to make a dynamic search here. So we're going to go here and say host selection. We're going to call it host 1, and I always put a 1 and 2 so I know if I can go back and figure out which token I'm dealing with. I'm going to paste my search in here, and I'm going to say stats count by host. And I may want that package in here from the previous drill down. So package, and we could have copied that, but I'll do it the longer way for this video purpose. Anyway, package 1. Now I'm going to click apply so I don't lose this. So before I can save this, I need to put a label. So this is for the host, and the value I want to grab from the previous panel is host, or actually not the previous panel, from the search that I'm doing here, because this is a dynamic search to create a dynamic. It's not a dynamic search. It's a dynamic field selection from a search that I'm running. And there is some cool things that we can do with this as well. But I'm just, like I said, I'm doing here stats count by host, apply, and now it should populate with some values. And you can see right here, Ubuntu K8s, which, yeah, is right. Although, the problem is, and I'll show you, if I click here and go to edit this, the problem I have is this is set the last 24 hours, and I had 7 days. And when I did 7 days, I have multiple options. I don't have a way inside of the GUI to modify this to accept, unless somebody knows where it's at, and I just haven't seen it for the many years I've been doing this. I don't even think advanced. Well, I guess I could enter it right here. What I find easier is I go up here to source, and then I grab, let's say here from this query, you can see where I've time one earliest and time one latest, and I will grab that. And I could just copy the time one earliest and latest and paste it in there, but I find it's more simple for me to come out here, grab it from another search, scroll down to where that multi-select is, and we can see here input to input multi-select host one, and then there's that earliest and latest. So if I just paste right there, and if you want to make it more in line, you can do that. And I'm going to click save. Now when it populates, I will see both of the file, Hall file, and Ubuntu K8s. We can also pass, because right now I'm not passing like I did up here, review and action installed. That's something I normally do anyway, is to make sure I'm passing, and I'll just copy this and put it right here, and we'll say package. So I know which package I'm reviewing. One, I mean, I could look in the log files, but if I just have it really quickly there, I'll know. Let's say save. There we go, curl, and then host selection. I can start clicking on host, but if I click on one, nothing's going to happen right at the moment because I haven't associated that multi-select with anything. And what I will do is, I can click edit search, and what I need to do is something like host. I love using the N, and I can say something like this, where it's $ host one, $ here, or you know what? I'll show you another way of doing this. So let's hit cancel. Let's go back into our edit input for that multi-select. And in here you can see I can select the default value, but that's not what I want. I want a static option for all. So I'm going to say star. So now I have a static option for all, and that's what I want, because when I when I click on a package, I want everything, and then I want to select afterwards. And then there's these token prefix, token value prefix. I mean, we can use these to help us instead of having to type a whole bunch of stuff, and we just want to type it all here and pass it. We can do that. So I could say host in, and if you notice, as I'm typing down here in preview, it's adding what I want. And then we could say suffix, let's put that there. And now I have host in, and there's value 1, value 2. Do I have that? Yeah, let's put a comma there. There we go. Now we have a comma there, and I could wrap these in quotes just in case for some reason your host name has a space in it. But there we go. I have that all there, and I can click apply now and go back to my search, and instead of having to put package equals, so I could have done the same thing for this here, but instead of having to put that, I can just say $ host 1 $. Click apply. Well, let's turn that off. There we go. And now you can see that the search is working. I can come down here and say Hall file, remove that, waiting for data, and boom. I can see just Hall file and the events that are with it for the curl package and all the different actions. So now if I needed to go in and, do I have this saved? Nope, let's save this before I do anything else. So if I need to export this, that's why I went to see export and I knew I didn't save it yet. because export wasn't there. I need to export that as a CSV. I can do that now. All right, so we can, as soon as I unselect all the host, it will then go back to all, and we'll have 2 pages. So now we've built a a dashboard that starts at a very high level and allows us to drill down into the different packages that could be installed, could be removed. If I click remove, we could see what's going on here, and then get all of the logs, the raw logs for that one package and even one server if we wanted to. And if we wanted to make changes, I'll give you another tip here before I end this video, because I've spent 30 minutes building out this one dashboard. Uh, you don't want to lose your work, and if you want to go in and start making and tinkering with this, I highly recommend that you come in and edit your dashboard, go to source, copy everything, and we're going to say Control C, and then jump over to maybe a text editor. Now I've got Notepad++ up here. Click, Control V, right click, paste, whatever, and then put it all into a text editor. So then when you go back to your search and you want to start, tinkering with it, you at least have a point where you could just, if I mess it up, come back in here, Control A, delete, Control V, and then I'm going to have all of where I was at before I started tinkering. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, throw something in the comments, and I will start working on the next one.